Welcome back to the Jamie O and Mason Ho show. We're here with the legendary 3-time world champion, right?
Twice world champion.
Okay, wow.
3-time pipe master.
3-time pipe master.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom Carrol, one of my favorite surfers growing up and still to this day leading the charge and paving the way for the next generation. So psyched to have you here.
So good to be here, Jamie.
Thank you, brother.
And we got Mace. Yeah. Good to see it.
TC.
I could feel it.
The amount of like surf sessions that you had, with Mason's dad and like Derek Ho and just all the legends that paved the way for us here on the North Shore as well has been absolutely incredible, right?
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's been a big journey. I guess I was just out in the surf this afternoon. These guys I actually taught meditation to whilst I was here on this trip, and they were just tripping in the afternoon out camis. I just didn't want to take them out sunset or anything.
Okay.
Just took them on the easy break at camis, and they and one of them, Bo, he just tuned in. He goes, "Oh, so how long you been surfing?" I go, 56 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bit of time.
That's a lot of time.
56?
Yeah, not going half-assed.
No, I know.
Just like
how old were you when you first came? Like 14 or something?
Here,
Yeah.
16.
16?
Yeah. And that was 1978. Like the year after all that stuff went on.
Yeah.
With breaking down the door, whatever, busting down the door.
Yeah.
Busting on the door.
Busted down the door. I got influenced by kind of the wake of that.
Yeah.
Kind of come in here but I knew your dad. And I was, actually it's your dad, and it was Dane and guys like
Dane Carroll,
all those guys really accepted me,
Yeah.
pulled me in.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
they were really, and I kind of got a good rapport with the boys. When I was hanging out with Simon Anderson, and those guys are much more low key, and we were just sort of going to surf all the different breaks and just finding all kind of different waves.
Sick.
You're getting the royal treatment.
Imagine it. 78?
Yeah, 78. Yeah.
He was surfing all the secret spots that are still secret that you just still can't go to.
The secrets.
Yeah, that's insane. 78.
Yeah. Was it true that when I think in the 78 or 79 did you make a final at the Pipeline Masters? Or?
Yeah, I kind of crawled through the preliminary round, a really small pipe.
Yeah.
It was just like almost pipe straight into sandbar, and it was pretty fun. I was frothing and having the best time on this little 6'3" was a small board back for those days, for pipe. And I was riding this killer 6'3" pintail. It was all single fins. And,
Australian made?
Board? Yeah, Australian made board by Colin Smith from Narrabeen. He used to probably the most radical surfer of his time,
Sick.
And he used to shape my boards since I was probably about 12, and but he couldn't do them long, so I got Simon Anderson to do me a couple of ones that he'd had a lot of experience shaping boards for Hawaii, and I kind of tagged along with Simon and a couple of the crazy Narrabeen guys, and I was just the grom. Like when you're a grom with those guys, it was just like you get left everywhere. Like you're not fast enough out of there's one supermarket down there in Haleiwa. If I didn't get in and out of there quick enough, just left there.
Oh.
And I was staying at the Kualima, right?
Yeah,
in
all the way at
condos.
Turtle Bay.
I figured out the bus system.
That's like a 30-minute commitment, like a drive, or it might take you like an hour to hitchhike to get all the way there. Maybe 2 hours, like pull it off all the way up to Turtle Bay.
Yeah, if I didn't come in from the surf, like when they came in,
they left you at the beach.
Even though
I dream of doing that to guys.
We used to buy cars.
Yeah,
but it was really cool.
I'm so stoked to find out you made the 70s. I was always curious. Like, did Uncle Tom get here in the 70s or the 80s? But yeah, that's sick. You made it.
Yeah, 79. The final.
You made the finals in 1979. How old were you?
I was
17.
17.
That's nuts.
And I just got sandwiched. Like the boys just went, "No, you're not getting."
Was that Jeff Hackman or who?
There
who
was
were you
no.
in
There
the
was
final?
Larry Bertelman
Wow.
and Dane just sandwiched me. Didn't let me get away.
No rights.
Larry Blair won it.
No way.
Yeah, Larry Blair was sending it from way deep. And he had a really good line on pipe
Yeah.
and had a real tight to the face style. So those single fins, you know, you just spin out off the face
Yeah.
of the wave.
Were you riding
know,
a
it's
single
like,
fin? Were you riding a single fin in the late 70s?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
That's
all single
crazy.
fins.
Why
for me.
81 is when the thrusters came out, roughly 82
Yeah,
to Hawaii, maybe,
80,
or
81, 80. 80 was the first time I saw one.
Yeah.
And Simon showed me. It was actually at Kuilima, that Hawaii trip. And I stayed on a little bit longer into 1980, into that January. And Simon said, "You got to have a look at. Can you have a look at this and tell me what you think?" Because I'd moved and started hanging out with some other crew as well, and I was always coming to Hawaii for like 2 to 3 months, you know.
Oh.
And he goes, "Have a look at this," and because the fins were so small compared to a single fin.
Yeah.
And we were me and my buddies, we were just anti-twin fins because we thought they were cheating.
Uh-huh.
You know, we
sounds
thought
like
that's
that.
cheating. We just wanted like Michael Peterson, Gerbacks,
Yeah.
Simon Anderson laying big turns. We were just like all that about that.
So sick.
But it wasn't getting us very far on the smaller stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And MR is dominating. It was like dominating.
Yeah.
But we couldn't my group of guys that was hanging out with, they were just like single fin, hardcore, fin back on the tail.
Roots.
Whoa.
Yeah, you're getting.
And so
That's nuts.
as soon as he showed me this thing, Simon made this little fins. I'm going, what is this thing?
That's rad.
Yeah, like half the
And it was a
size.
trip. I was
Yeah.
looking at it, and one of my buddies from hometown, Dougal Walker, who got third in the Pipeline Masters that year,
Sick.
we were together with Simon, and I go, and I knew it's kind of a little bit Kona wind. I remember it was Kona wind, but Rocky Point was all right.
Yep.
And I'd sort of had a day, and he goes, "Oh, why don't you guys take it for a surf this evening?" I said, no. I just looked at him and went, And Dougal went, "Yeah, let me take it for a surf."
No
He was
way.
frothing. I'll take it out. And I go, "No, go for it, Dougal." But I was keen to know what he
Yeah,
thought.
heck
yeah.
Came back that evening. He was just like glowing. He was like, "Bzzzt.
Whoa.
Oh, Tom, like, you don't believe the feel of this thing." And it was so sick. I was going, wow, I'm going to have to go straight back to I just signed a deal with Burn Surfboards and I just kicked off with him with single fins. And I thought, let's have a go to this tri-fin thing, you know, like 3-fin thruster thing that Simon's got. This thruster, his sticker thruster, you know, like,
That's so
you know,
sick.
like,
Was that when like Simon Anderson was like just doing those huge just carves at like bells, and like it was just like he kind of like changed like the game of surfing as far as like very nice, beautiful open face turns. I was like, that was the moment like where everything just switched, and you saw it. All the other surfers saw it, and they're like, "Holy shit, we need to get on the bandwagon."
Exactly. And then he came over and won Pipeline Masters.
Whoa, that was a statement.
Yeah, with thruster, and everyone went, "Oh, okay." When someone does that at that level, you kind of go, "Oh, right, something's working."
And we're still riding thrusters at Pipeline. Like nothing's changed since what year was that?
Well, and you know, Simon developed that. I mean,
81.
there've been 3-fin surfboards. Yeah. 3-fin surfboards.
Because I think my dad finally buckled too on 82. He's like, "Cam thruster too," and then he won. the Masters.
I went
And
body
was like,
surfing in that final at the end, a pipe with my mate.
No way.
Yeah, and watched your dad. I was like, with his
That's so
cast on.
sick. Yeah.
And we were just watching the whole final, just grabbing rail and just tucking in and just getting the best backside barrels.
Nice, yeah.
Nice pipe too. We're just body surfing.
Can't
the
believe
end
you're just
section.
body surfing
Yeah,
right now. It's so
there was no
sick,
rule.
dude.
Like
yeah.
the rules were.
You're like, sorry, this is the best
Yeah,
seat.
we're going swimming. Let's go.
I love it.
But that's crazy. Like right when Simon Anderson like made that like technology from like the single fin to the thruster, that next thing you know, the first time, you know, he tries it at pipe, he wins the Pipeline Masters. Then Michael Ho ditches his single fin, and then boom, he goes on to win the Pipeline Masters. Like, like the whole world must have just turned upside down, like on that one thing in surfing.
Yeah, it was a massive shift.
Wow.
And everyone started enjoying just more ride, you know, like the single fin's a groovy thing to feel, like that smooth sensation. There's something really special about it. But, you know, look how many, I mean, every human, imagine if every one of us sort of bowed down and said thank you to Simon.
Yeah.
yeah.
Gave him $1.
I'll give him $1.
Lost is doing that for a while.
Yeah,
I
they
wonder
did
if they
that.
still do.
I think we got to do another round for Simon.
I agree.
Huh?
They give him $1 a board.
Like look at what he's given us all.
Right?
Like,
That's
I think
funny.
it's just maybe, I don't know, can you do GoFundMes like that? I don't know.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
but
I
I
like
think
that, dude. Start that thing,
future Finns and FCS should just grandfather him even 50 cents for every
Some
pair of fins they
action,
sell.
yeah.
Like, bro, give it to the guy.
Easy, yeah.
If it's
That
not
was super funny what you said about it must have been such a trip like because when you seen the thruster, like your single fin was this big,
Yeah.
and then to see the little fins, you must have just been like,
God, no.
how?
How's that
When?
gonna go?
Yeah,
Like,
that's so
it's
funny.
gonna slide out all over the place. I was going, look at this. I love to have my fin back.
Like,
And like-
wasn't
and-
MP like that too?
Mike
Like the fin all the
Peterson.
way on the back, the
That's-
single fin.
My MP was the guru. He was our guru. We used to bow down to guru, and he used to do these big cutbacks, right with his heels, like rah, grr. We used to call him grr, going
Really?
to Gerbacks.
Fuck.
Gerbacks.
It's as sick as it gets.
This is a Gerback session.
Gerback?
Gerback. And you had to kind of sort of get it out of you.
I love that on the heel.
Yeah.
Fin way on the tail.
Yeah, right on the
Jeez.
tail, so you could just and then way down the track, because we were riding as long a board as we could on
Yeah.
smaller waves here.
Yeah.
This one comes out of Doug Silver, the elephant
Doug's-
turn. So it goes to the girl of the elephant, and
So-
just sessions made for it.
Doug
Yeah.
Silva is like
He's good.
Seth Monise's coach and a bunch of pro surfers nowadays. But you kind of look at him and you're like, brah, this guy is a character. And then you forget that the guy actually rips super hard.
Proper.
Proper. So yeah, shout out to Doug Silver, your
Yeah,
legend.
Yeah, classic.
The
Ripper.
best.
Well, so we kind of touched on this earlier, but like when you showed up to the North Shore in the 70s and 80s, and my dad was here at that time too, and it was a very scary time for mostly, I guess, probably everybody, because it was a heavy time in Hawaii. Also, like, there was, obviously, we talked about the, busting down the door and whatnot. Somehow my dad was like one of the only Australians that ended up moving here and staying here throughout time, and like somehow like kind of like leveraged himself into like this lifeguarding job and made a lot of cool friends. And obviously it's the North Shore, like still to this day, like I have run-ins and other people have run-ins with other people, but like it's nothing like what it was before. Like, I couldn't only imagine the late 70s and then the early 80s, the things, even the 90s, like
Look at my skin. I'm like a full
Yeah.
Hallie. I got Hallie right.
yeah, but I'm working on it, bro. I'm the next Holly in line.
I got little bits of dark bits, but little spots. But like, I'm like stick out this little weedy little
Yeah, I
kid.
bet.
And I was, and it was sketchy. No one was looking like they're having fun in the water. Like everyone was
Wow.
stink
Pissed off.
eyeing every each other, and it was all chest pumping. It was like another. It was just so different and really raw.
Yeah.
And people are just sus on each other. And
It's kind of crazy is like I have pride in like just knowing that I got to surf with Dane KLaw a few times before like he passed on the torch. I got to surf with Marvin Foster before he passed on the torch. I got to surf with Johnny Boy for years before he passed it on. I got to share the lineup with you. I got to share the lineup with Jerry only once, but like there's this thing and it's like passing on the torch, but I feel like you could paddle back out the pipe and do the same thing you've been doing for the last 40 something years out there.
it'd be pretty cool. I was talking to Kelly about maybe next year, if there's a chance, we could get just a little moment in another one of those heats.
Yeah,
we had
those legend heats.
Yeah, we had a kill
The
one
best.
with Derek and Sonny
Yep.
and Elko. Like we
Perfect.
had that one.
Yeah, that
And
was I had fun
so-
watching you that time.
I
You
think
backdoored a couple
I
from
got
on the
a couple
left.
of nice. Yeah, I got a couple of nice ones, but it wasn't. I mean, it was good. It was fun just
Yeah.
to be there and just have that moment. But I was like looking at it the other night. That
Yeah.
night,
That evening.
that evening it coming on. I was just like, there's something in me going.
Yeah.
But
got it.
everyone rushed on it. I'm going.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
You know
anymore.
what's crazy? I paddled out that
Can't do that
afternoon.
anymore.
No, I paddled out and
You
it wasn't even
can,
that
though.
crowded. I'm like, bro, I'm freaking gonna tax these guys right now. And like, bro, if I saw you out there, I'd be calling you in a way guaranteed.
I know we
Well
almost
said.
should make like an honorable one. Just get a couple of the boys,
Yep.
and then get Uncle out there and just be like, bro, you're
Michael Pal out with you.
Yeah, and then my dad will probably go with you. And
It's
you
kind
guys
of
will just
trippy
take
because you know
over.
what it takes. Like Mike he gets his, he deserves. He has to have that
He
opening.
still taxes us.
There's
Guaranteed.
something he does.
Both of us. I'm like, Dad, come on, I want to laugh.
Yeah. But, see, it's just that energy because I know what it's like to have that energy and how much have I got in the tank for that?
Feel like you're full.
Bro, he's top shape.
You're so humble,
feeling
though,
good.
right? Or-
You look
yeah.
good. You're
Yeah.
You
good.
deserve to go feel even better out there. If you felt that little bug the other evening, that means you're still
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit
in there.
cuckoo.
I was starting to
Let's
surf
get him out
every-
there.
You start surfing mentally every wave.
Yeah.
I was like, I just got that feeling of being poisoned by my own chemical makeup.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like I was like walking off the beach, going, "Oh my god!"
I didn't
feel
get
like
mine.
I feel like I've been surfing all afternoon.
That's so cool.
Speaking
I
of
would do
pipeline,
anything to see you out there.
speaking of pipeline, when was the last time you paddled to pipe?
was probably that Heritage Heat in 215.
Okay.
No way.
So I got a question about that heritage heat. Was that the one that was like 8 foot and like there were some mental ones?
There's some nice ones.
It was 8 foot at least. Yeah, you got a
Yeah.
couple of mental
He
ones.
Yeah.
backdoored the left on a couple.
And I got
And you didn't make a nuts one, yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I got 2 boards made, replicas
Yes.
of that
Whoa.
91 snap.
Yep.
Were they
But I
Rossets?
made them just a little bit chunkier for me, because back in the day I had them thin and narrow, and I couldn't paddle them now. But I rode the 7.9, and it just felt so good.
You know what's
Just-
trippy? I got a really cool story about that because I hit you up and I was like, hey, Tom, I'm collecting some boards. I would really love one of your boards. And this was when I started like my search for Tom Carrol's board. Like I'm like, bro, I have to have a Tom Carroll board in my garage because like when I go down into the garage, I just look and that's why I surf is because surfers like you and Mason's dad,
Awesome.
Uncle Mike and Derek and the list just goes on and on and on. So I was like, I just figure, I'm just going to reach out to Tom directly. He's seems like a very nice guy. He's always kind to me. And he goes, Jamie, I might have a couple boards up at Uncle Derek's house. So maybe just hit up Uncle Derek. I'll shoot him a message and then I'll make sure you get one of my boards up there. I'm like, no way. I'm like so pumped. And I'm like, I think I like hit up Mason. I'm like, hey, what's Uncle Derek's number? And boom, Mason gave it to me. I drove up the hill because Uncle Derek lives in Pubakea, which is just above Pubakea. And so I was like, oh, boom, I left my house. I was like, freaking, bro, I'm going to go get a freaking Tom
TC.
board, bro. I was like psyching. Derek gave me like the sick tour of like his whole zone. Like I've been there before, but not like the full tour with all the art and his room and like
Whoa.
his trophies. I was just baffled. I was like, oh, bro. I saw his daughter. She's like, she's a homie.
Key.
Yeah. And I was like cruising through. And then we like kind of go back in the backside of the yard and he starts pulling boards out. And I was like, whoa, bro. He pulled out a couple of his nuts ones and then he like pulls out like 2 of yours and I got one of them still. And
Whoa.
then Brownie like pulls this board out. I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, Tom said whatever one you want. So whatever it is, take it.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm sure I think there's another one up there, but
Yeah, they're in socks, huh,
Yeah,
Tom?
there's
You
a
got-
couple
I
up
remember
there,
I
yeah.
looked, I was kind of cleaning, doing stuff, and I'm like, what's this in the sock? I seen, I was like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'll just
Yeah,
put this
they-
back on, pretend like I never
It's
seen
just
it.
hovering up there.
yeah, it's
You
in a
got
good
that
place.
on,
Yeah, I knew back in the day when Derek used to just take good care of him, and it was such a warm relationship,
Yeah.
So
Because
cool.
he went into that whole career thing as being a competitive surfer. He went through it all.
Yeah.
We
You guys
duked it out hard.
battled. Yeah.
Battled.
Mental ones.
And
huh?
you always come out. I don't know. My experience, it was just so much respect for each
in
other.
love, huh?
And
Like,
love.
It seemed like he
You
like was
said
in
it.
love
You said
with
the
you.
word is love. It's just this love for each other, and and it was always super warm.
So cool.
Yeah,
Do you-
it was cool.
Do you got any heats that you like just went to battle with Mason's dad?
Probably uncle. What? The uncle? How's the one you and uncle almost killed each
oh,
other?
Derek?
For the love.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Who was gonna take off
Dude,
deeper?
It's almost
Yeah.
like I swear it looked like a cowboy shootout. Like, and then maybe you guys, at least you guys both survived. So it's almost like we almost got to love each other now. We
Yeah.
almost killed each other.
Yeah,
Like,
we were so tight.
good
We
times.
were always tight in the lineup at Pie.
Sick.
Like, it goes back. Doesn't just
Beyond,
Atlanta,
right?
91 sort of got the magnifying glass out
Yeah,
on it,
but it was
we
way before.
goes way
even
back
on the road and stuff. You guys
on the
have some
road. Yeah,
gnarly
we had a
road ones.
final in the first wave pool event.
No
Oh,
way.
I heard
Yeah,
about that.
me and Derek ended up in the final.
Sick.
We're gonna look at each other and go, we're in Allentown, Pennsylvania, in this pool.
Pennsylvania.
You won too, right? You won.
Yeah, I got him.
Yeah,
Because I got
remember
the
her.
11th wave. There was 15 waves put out,
Yeah,
and it's sort of just these flaps at the end of the pool.
yeah.
And it mimicked like this, like a 3-second period interval wind swell on the Jersey Shore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was sort of, they go boom, 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 and there'd be enough water sort of getting spat in that it'd drag a current against the wave. By the time the 9th, 10th, 11th wave was starting to get really lifted up. But yeah, you can, Derek, it was always hard, always tough to beat,
Seemed like
in any conditions. And so I couldn't, it's like heavy. It was on every time. I was going, oh, I got Derek, damn. I'm going, frick.
I feel like you guys were so good at like the you and Uncle Derek were so good at the 2-3-inch surf.
Yeah.
And then when it'd get the pipeline, like 15 foot, you guys were like so good, maxing. I was just like, I always grew up like, I want to be exactly like those two.
Cover all the bases.
Just to go hard. Or like, it seemed like you guys just loved it and had so much fun, whether it was nothing or just beyond.
Yeah, it was on.
I almost,
It was on.
but I almost feel like guys like, Derek Ho, you, Tom, and Larry Rios, there's like certain like, and Ronnie Burns, there was a certain like pack that like really changed the dynamic of goofy foot surfing at Pipeline. And like, I felt like you guys led the charge for years, and that kind of shows in results of like, how many Pipeline Masters you won and Derek won and these guys. I just felt like, and also I think, I might be wrong here, but were you the first goofy foot world champion ever?
Well, there was in the amateur ranks, there were world champions. Like there was Rolf Arnez back in the 70s.
No, but like the real,
in the
ASP.
professional tour. Yeah,
that's pretty
that was the
nuts.
first, yeah,
That's
Dang,
sick.
that's
huh?
I really
super
wanted
cool.
to be that person because when you're in your early career, things happen when you're really passionate about what you're doing, and some things you get. I heard the rumor that when I was real young that they were going to stop surfing, letting goofy footers surf in events and stuff.
Shut up,
And
really?
I've gone, and I heard about the person who was running the Australian Surfing
No
Association. I'm going, what? I got so dirty, and I'm going, what is wrong with these people? I got dirty, and then they started, we're not going to run events on left. So I go, what? And I go, what? Except all the events were on right. So I go, this is not happening.
That's crazy.
And it kind of like ticked me off. Like a lot of things like that kind of, I'm going to get justice. Yeah. I'm going to, kind of even the field here.
Yeah.
As best as I can.
No wonder why your backside is just lethal. You're like,
backside was, and I loved, there was some surfers from Queensland who were just insane on the backside. Guy Almirad and even Tony Elfrington, Doris.
I've heard the
he
name.
He runs the boats up there in the Mentawais. Crusty guy now, but he's like freaking amazing on the backside. If you were watching him, and the guy who used to show boards, Cole Smith from Sydney, is just like it's vertical. Every turn was vertical. So backside.
What year did you win the title? 87? No.
83, 84, 85, 86, 84, 85. So 83, 84, 84, 85. That's how the tour went back then. It sort of bridged
into the year. Yeah. So you won, your first one was 83, 84.
And
then you won
84,
85.
85.
84, 85.
And then
your Masters was what, 87? Was that why?
87. But because I was on the backside thing, I wanted to win at Sunset before Pipe.
Did you win at Sunset?
Right?
Yeah, I won at Sunset. It was my first tour event win.
I got a photo.
Is that what helped you win the title? A Sunset win? Or no?
Yeah, because that was like the last event of 82.
Was that maybe in the event? Or that's a different year?
Cool. That's a different year because that board's from...
That's the board I have on my wall.
You've got the one on the wall, huh?
Yeah.
That's from 91.
That's a 91.
That's the 91 quiver.
Yeah.
You scored, huh?
I scored.
Off my mate.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew Mooney.
Yeah.
But how's that? Like that's Tom at Sunset, backside snap. Like it was kind of like known. I mean, when I was like an amateur, like it was known that like you could probably surf sunset better backside than a front side, or you can just get more critical under the lip, whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna have you sign that a little bit later.
I'll sign that for you.
Bro, you know who took this is my wife's dad, Paul Gordino.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Gordino.
Yeah.
He has the best photos of all you guys ever.
Classic.
If you ever hit him up and be like, hey, Paul, looking for this, bro, he'd be so psyched. Like, bro, I'll find that thing for you right now.
Isn't it amazing the work he's done? Like, yeah, he was always on the beach and always on the angles too.
I was sick. You on sunset?
I was so inspired. I did like a little Tom Carrol spray on my board when I was like a super grom.
Yeah. Look at your super grom.
Yeah.
I remember when you were super grom.
Yeah, I was psyching.
I remember that you're like this frothing, freckled grom. Like, I'm like, how's this kid? And that was the kid, that 91 board going.
Yeah. That's a whole nother story, bro. So when Tom, let's talk about the snap right now.
Okay.
The snap changed the surfing. I know it's been heard around the world, and it's still got to be heard. We still got to talk about it. Like, I know you're probably sick of talking about this snap, but like, bro, you shocked the world of surfing with this turn. No one expected it, and you were absolutely on a tear. Was that in 1991?
1991 Pipe Masters, yeah.
And you're on your way to winning the Pipeline Masters. You won the Pipe Masters in 1991.
Yeah, 91, and won it the year before, 1990, and 87. Yeah.
So you looked so angry on that thing.
Yeah,
were you angry or were you just psyching?
I was so
happy.
It just all
like,
moved. See, it just moved without any.
Like you were just like
kind of effort in a way.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was just the board was just doing its thing.
Yeah.
The board felt so sweet, and that day was a crazy day. It had this nuts backwash. Just after that, I just sort of pull into this crazy closeout backwash. Then Barton was paddling out. He saw it from kind of underneath that.
Yeah.
He's like, he was tripping.
I got a question though. So when was that in the contest that you did that snap? Was that like?
That was in the preliminary round.
Oh, so that was early.
And
then you're like, oh, I really like this board, and you tried to ride it for the rest of the event, and then you snapped it. What heat did you snap the board?
The final.
In the final.
It was like the board lasted through the most crazy pulling closeouts because a couple of them I just went, I'm sending it on this thing just to see where I can go, you know, and because like it was solid, and I just wanted to get a wave in early in the heat, kind of a little bit like Baron Mamiya's energy, you know. He was like, he's on it straight away, and I was like that, like on it straight away, and then just sometimes it was just not a good wave, and I remember one was this huge closeout. And it was in the semi-final, I think, and it was just like, whoa! It's like right in the throat of this thing. I'm going, the board's gone. The board's probably not going to make it. But it's just, you dive into the base and you come out the back and the thing's just exploding all over the place. The board just goes straight there. I go, oh, he's still here, you know. A number of times in that day, that finals day, where I was like, oh, the board's still together. Like, oh. And then 5 minutes before the end of the final, it just finally went.
You know what's crazy?
That's sick.
Bro, I was probably in 90, it was 91, yeah. So I was born in 83, 84, 85, 86, 7, 8, 8, 9, whatever. Like I was like 8 years old. I was sitting on the beach at Pipe with your brother,
Such a
Nick
girl.
Carroll. Right, Nick?
Yeah.
And he's like a writer. He writes for all the magazines. And I was just cruising with him because I think Nick was staying with us, or he's a good friend of my dad. And I was like, oh, cool. Like I got like prime seating, and I was like watching the comp, just psyching. Like, bro, Tom was like my favorite surfer. It was even better that like I knew Nick, because I was like, oh, like I have a full in right here. I could actually talk to Tom. And then boom, the board snapped, and I like ran down the beach because like Nick's like, go grab it. He
knew.
Yeah. And I grabbed the board. I had the board. I came up. Nick's like, just hang on to it. I'll talk to Tom later. And then if he says you could have it, you could have it. And then Nick he's like, yeah, you could have the board. Bro, I had the board up at my house at Pipe. And I was like, oh, I got the board, bro. I'm so psyched. And then freaking Liam McNamara showed up at my house at like freaking like 6 that afternoon. Like, hey, what? I heard you got that Tom Carrol board. Can I just want to like take some measurements off of it, because like they are all goofy footers. They're like, holy shit, like I've never seen someone do a snap like this. Like they wanted to like just break down his board, dissect it.
The pig.
They wanted to dissect it, bro.
That pink little magic
Hey,
board.
and then-
See what the heart's like, you know.
Bro, I'm like 8 years old, like looking at Liam, like, yeah, no worries. You take
No,
it, just
uncle.
bring it back. Like, no, I was just like,
No, I know.
take it. Yeah. And then, bro, I never saw the board again.
No. Hey, is it in Haleiwa?
It
Is that
is.
board
And
in
then
Haleiwa?
15 years later, or something.
Boom.
He comes.
Barry has it.
He
Yeah.
goes. I'm just at the beach park.
Yeah.
15 years later?
Yeah. I'm
Like
on my bike.
2000?
On my
Year
bike.
2000 roughly?
Yeah, I'm on the bike, my
Yeah,
push
yeah,
bike,
yeah.
looking at pipes early in the morning. The lights just sort of hitting it,
Yeah.
and it's right there with the shower zone
Yeah.
and the lifeguard tower. And I'm just sitting there, and then Liam, hey, Tommy, like coming up to me. I go, oh, Liam, and he's sort of we're getting along by then. We didn't get along too well before, but
Battles.
especially in the guts of like the 80s,
Yeah.
early 90s.
Whoa.
And we were like head to head. And he was tricky in the water, right?
Yeah.
So,
What
anyway.
a legend.
yeah, classic.
Love it,
Just sending
love
it
it.
from way back, screaming and carrying on with his helmet on. I was like, whoa, dude. Anyway, and he got straight back out. And I was like, oh, fuck. Anyway, how do I match that? I can't. Anyway, he turns up. We get, in good spirits,
Yeah.
and he turns up and goes, I got that board. I go, what board? I like it's gone out of my head.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't think. I said, what board are you talking? Like,
Yeah.
and he goes, I get that pink board. I go, oh, the pink board?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pipe 91? Like, I go, really? He goes, I'll be back in 20 minutes. I know where it is. I go, 20 minutes goes by, turns up, and there's the two halves.
No way.
And I'm like, God, look at it. It's like, it's in good nick,
Yeah.
it's been kept. And I go, well, it's, and I talked to a few crew in Quicksilver, and we put it in that
Quicksilver Haleiwa.
in the Quicksilver Haleiwa
Yeah.
store, which was Barry's store,
Yeah.
which makes it even better for
BK.
me, because BK, for me,
yeah.
BK was like a huge influence, like MP, but
Whoa.
used to watch all his movie, all the footage of him in
Yeah.
movies. Surfing Sunset was just like BK was the man.
Yeah.
I used to just
He had the
love.
gnarly mana too.
Yes,
It seemed
super like
He's a
classic.
real one.
Yeah.
Met him when I was 15 at the Stubbies Classic
Whoa, Burley?
in Burley Heads in 77. And I talked to him like he was my hero. Like I was going,
Yeah.
oh, Barry, can I poon? He was really nice, like really cool.
Yeah.
I go, wow. I met Eddie too.
I was
Eddie,
gonna say when
Eddie
you
O'Cow.
yeah.
Sick.
On that trip. I was just this kid, like
That is
I remember
so
like
cool.
shaking their hands.
Yeah.
My hand would disappear.
When they'd be at Bell's, I remember stories of Uncle BK and they'd
Yeah.
go to Bell's
Go to
and they'd go to
Bell's,
the
yeah.
Gunston and they'd
Yeah.
like do it all. Yeah.
Yeah, do the whole trip. And
So then what happened? Oh, so you guys got the board.
Got the board,
I
yeah.
saw it's hung up in the Quicksilver shop.
down there in Haleiwa, and it's got the helmet that I was using.
Yeah.
Sick.
I stare at that thing every now and then.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
go-
a mana. I go charge
Yeah.
up by your board.
So yeah, it has still holding it. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
vibration.
I try to kiss it, but I can't
You
reach
can't
at all.
get
And they put
it.
the glass
Yeah,
on it. I'm like,
classic.
dang it, man.
I think they
Gotta
gotta.
kiss it.
I think they gotta just send that thing back to you. That
It's,
thing-
I kind
One
of
day.
come back and go, that's
I think you gotta do that.
I think that's my board.
No.
that's my
No, you got to get that back. And like also what I like
Oh,
when
man.
like speaking about you said you met Eddie Aikau. Also yeah, but well, rewind. I never saw that board, and then you saw it X amount of years later. Then it went up there, and
It's like,
That's a cool
look,
story. I
it's
never knew
cool
that.
how it
Super
comes
cool.
through.
That's super
Yeah.
cool.
super cool.
Yeah.
But
I gotta
But I
picture
remember
that.
you being a frothing grom.
frothing.
Yeah.
Just a frothing grom. I go, that kid's got some energy, dude.
Yeah,
It's just,
Whoa.
Bro, I guarantee someone's got the clip of me running up the board with your
Wow.
with like running up the beach with your board, man. Imagine if that thing
Guarantee. Or even a
surfaced.
photo or
Oh
something.
my god! Like
It's out
that'd
there.
be so cool.
yeah,
We're
and
looking for it, guys.
and and you know, here's one of the crazy things before we jump into the meeting Eddie Aikau. Some of the crazy things is when I was a younger surfer, like, yeah, you might have been a goofy footer, but one of my friends, this guy, Adam Desposito, super cool guy, he told me how to dissect your favorite surfer. He says, watch the surfer in the mirror. So then next thing you know, you could be like Tom Carrol, but actually Tom
Regular
Carrol
foot.
turns into a regular footer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So then you get to break down you get to break down like all your favorite surfers in your own natural stance.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, so like that's how I was like dissecting. I'm like,
It's a great idea.
all right, we're going to take a quick break and check in with our sponsors. Hey, let me tell you, if you've been tossing and turning at night, feeling edgy during the day, let me tell you about CBD. CBD Distillery is an absolutely amazing brand. Millions of people are turning to CBD for relief because it actually works. Over 90% of the customers report better sleep with CBD. And it's not just sleep. CB Distillery offers target formulas for just about everything: sleep, stress, mood, focus, pain after exercise. They even have CBD for pets. Reef and Grom are going to be psyched on this product. It's all made with the highest quality, clean ingredients, no fillers, just premium CBD. And you're probably wondering what my favorite product is from CB Distillery. It is this roll-on pain stick. This thing is absolutely insane. Also, I love the sleep gummies because it just gives me a better sleep on the airplanes and just stressful nights. Sometimes I just need to turn off and go to bed. And with 2 million satisfied customers and 100% money back guaranteed, CB Distillery is the source to trust. And for a limited time, you can also save 25% off your entire purchase. That's right, 25% off your entire purchase. Visit CB Distillery and use promo code JOB. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code JOB, cbdistillery.com. Product availability depends on your state regulations. I'm going to rub some of this on my back before we get back into the podcast. That lower back. Ooh, there it is. Use promo code JOB. We're going to get back to the podcast. I want to surf like backdoor, how Tom surfs pipe. I want to surf, like whatever, like who knows, but it's kind of,
I remember doing that with Tom too.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah.
Eddie Aikau, 2016. You were in the event. We were in my heat, and it was freaking
Remember that?
massive.
Remember that heat?
Bruh. I remember walking on the beach and I just felt like a teeny little ant. Yeah. And I was so scared. I'm like, frick, this is the day of days. And they're like, oh, like, we're going to run the event no matter what. No matter if it's 35 feet, we will make sure we get you out the back. And I'm like sitting there and I'm just like, oh my God, like how big is it going to be? And Terry's like, don't worry, we'll get you out the back. Uncle Clyde, it is on. And I was just like,
Clyde? He was like,
Uncle Clyde. Remember the speech before?
Oh, I was like, bro, I'm going to die today. But then I'm like, I had this 10-4 built for Jaws. And I was like, like if the Eddie ever goes and it's that big, I'm going to ride the 10-4. I'm just going to sit out the back and just send it, but like kind of scared. Yeah, I'm walking down the beach, like, bro. People are like, Jamie. I was like, I felt like this big, but to them it was like larger than life, bro. I'm like, I remember like
Tom was in your heat.
Yeah, Tom was in my heat.
We had a crazy takeoff.
Bro.
That one.
Yeah,
I paddled out. I'd had enough. I had this
you had a
thing like before I had a knee replacement, and I had this wipeout. Surfing.
I remember that.
It's all right. Wasn't the first time.
I've poured a bunch of stuff on there.
Yeah, I just spilt that drink. But anyway, I had a wipeout at surfing actually at Himalayas the week before.
Okay.
And I got a pretty screwed up right knee, and it's gotten pretty weak, and it's about time I needed to get a replacement. But I took this wipeout, and it put a chunk. It took a chunk and sort of floater. And it was floating around the knee. And I went back home thinking I'm going to have to forfeit my position in the eddy. I could see the storms doing their thing. And it was a solid winter. Yeah. And I was like psyched to go the eddy. Like I didn't want to miss it. And I'm like, had the best, I had a really nice 9.8. And I felt like I've got to get the backside action out there. I'm psyching. But I've gone home and the thing's blown out. I'm going, I guess I'm going to have to just call it. And I went and did my doctor thing, went through it, and that sort of went back into position. Whoa. And I could straighten my leg out. And then my power, I did some power strength tests, and he goes, look, we could tape it up and you can go back and give it a go. And so I taped it up and I'm like basically surfing on one leg. And like that first part of that heat, I'm like hanging on the edge going, I don't know about this. Like, I'm like, it's starting to sort of chip in from way out.
So big.
There was
Yeah.
some big ones
Second
from
reef
way
rip
off.
YMA. Like, what is that?
What is that? Never seen it.
No,
like that.
never.
I'm like, and I remember going for one and I saw Twiggy just let
saw
go of
this.
it, like way at the top of this thing, just scooped out underneath him, had nothing to go for, and he just dove. And I just saw his whole leg rope just stretched to his. Me and Kelly were kind of on the edge of it.
And then it went like this.
Yeah, he was like, I did that one. It was like next level.
Oh.
And I took a couple of small ones and I'm going, this is not right.
Yeah.
I can't just take these
There was
little
no
ones.
small ones that day, though.
Yeah,
You're
that's
being-
true.
you're being
I don't know what
humble.
the small ones were, but there was small ones. And I'm
I
like,
remember
going,
you that day. You're going
right,
crazy.
I'm going to paddle. I'm going for it. If I can't get one, that's it. Like, I'm just going to go all the way out to where I've seen them.
Yeah.
And I went way out and over, and you followed me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Because I was like, I don't want no one to be deeper than me.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but then Tom was like pushing the issue. I'm like, how old is this guy? He's freaking crazy, bro. Like we were like
they go into
paddling
another level.
Yeah, we're
these
like
guys,
paddling out to like second reef YMA. I'm like, bro, I've never been out here too.
I'd never been there.
But there was this boil and it was like
all of a sudden, I'm going, I'm just going to sit and wait, but we didn't have to wait. We went out, all of a sudden, there's this thing.
a thing.
Remember that thing? And there's a bit of wind that day.
Oh yeah.
Man,
And I'm like, I'm going, okay, this is it, commit. And you're coming alongside me on the outside of me, right?
Dropping in on you.
Just dropping on me. I'm going, okay, I'm with Jamie here. And Jamie's going, he's digging in. I guess I'm with Jamie on this one.
yeah.
And I'm like digging in, I get the drop, and I'm on the scoopy bit, and you're just on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't press my nose down.
Yeah. It lifted
And
it up a little bit.
Lifted me up, and the wind got me because I'm light.
Yeah.
right? Little guy.
yeah.
It
Like
just
Mason.
Yeah.
no, you're not on this wave.
Oh.
Threw me off the
Yeah.
back. I'm still standing on my board going out the back. It just saved my ass because you got all the way down that thing and then fell on your back.
You would have died where
And
you
I would
were.
have got you on top of me.
Yeah, it was like chaotic because like one of the craziest things about that before like we paddled out in the heat, I remember Uncle Clyde, or was Uncle Clyde in our heat or no, he was the heat before us. He goes, you guys don't sit over here, you're gonna get cleaned out. And I was like, all right, like I'm gonna sit second reef, like out like further, bro, because like all those guys got cleaned out. Like you don't usually.
I was the heat after Uncle Clyde's.
Yeah, so maybe Clyde was. I don't know. Maybe that was a different heat, but like, bro, usually you don't get cleaned up at Waimea.
Wait, was what you guys are talking about? Was that your first heat or your second heat of the
It was our
event?
first heat.
It's our first.
Yeah,
Okay, I think Uncle Clyde was right after me, and I wasn't in Uncle Clyde's heat. I
yeah.
was in the one after.
So yeah, I took off on that wave, and I remember Tom going, and I was like, I'm going, bro. Like it's for every like this is the biggest wave I ever seen in my life at Waimea. I'm going, like no matter what. Like, but like, do I really want to be going? I don't really know. Like, I don't know what that wipeout's gonna be like. I was like, just don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. But meanwhile, Tom's all like out the back. I didn't know he was there. I was like, oh. Like I didn't know where he went, really, you know. And I was like dropping. I was like, oh, boom, 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 boom. I'm like, oh, there's the boil brace. Because like when you go through the boil with your fins, like it usually kind of redirects you or like slows you down and pulls you forward. And right when I ran over the boil, I go whoop, and I wind up the windows one. I go whoop. I'm like, don't fall, bah, bro. Pounded so hard, freaking didn't even know where I was. Freaking blah 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 blah. But I was like the whole time I was like, oh, I just had the new float suit. I'm like, do I pull it? Should I pull it? Nah, I don't need to pull it. Like, I'm gonna man this thing out. Like I'm like, bro, I didn't pull it. And what I realized is on that wave, I got like a little concussion, but also I had all this water under my eyelids, bro. And I popped up and I was like pushing my eyes. And I was like, I'm blind. And I couldn't see anything. And I was squirting water
took a
out.
while to get back out.
Yeah, I was like, just poke my eyes and water would be like, and it would like squirt out, bro. And I was like, whoa, like tripping out. And I took another one on the head and I went in the channel. I was like thinking about, I was like, bro, I told you not to fall and you fell. And I was like, boom, like kind of creep back out. Like, whoa. Like,
Yeah, you were really sheepish. You come out. I was sheepish. I just went, I guess I'm not allowed to take off on a wave because I just got kicked off the back.
I remember Tom when
I saw the sequence of it. I wasn't even supposed to take that wave. It was never going to happen. Like I just sort of went on the inside and said the knee's not, it's just going just hang on the inside, Tom. Got a couple on the inside, but that big arm was that was the biggest wave I've ever paddled for at Waimea.
We did it together.
Yeah. I remember watching you two go out. All right. I just remember kind of tripping out how big the ocean was that day, or that was the biggest I've ever seen the ocean in my life at that point, and I was just like, and then I just remember someone's like, yeah, Tom Carroll's going out, and everyone started cheering for you, and I was like, whoa, what? Yes. And then, but then I was like, I think my dad or someone mentioned you were hurt, so like I was like, wait, he's going out, and I looked over and you had all the tape and you're making your way, and I was like, that's my hero.
Did you see Mason's wave that day? It was probably one of the biggest waves I've ever seen surfed at Waimea, still to this day.
Crazy.
Towards the end,
it was just, what was the board? What was the board?
I had it was a Pat Rawson, and he made it for his son Ryan Rawson, and it was made in like 1998, so it had this super cool like when I'd put it under my arm, I always felt really safe and like happy with it. But it was a 10-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so
we
nice.
Needed
Little
that.
baby swallow.
That was the day for the 10-2.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I just remember seeing that wave like from the beach, but I could only see half of it because like at Waimea, when you're sitting on the beach, like you only see half the wave. So the wave only looks like if that was like a 35 footer at Waimea, it only looked like maybe 20. Yeah. You couldn't see the rest of it, and you just saw him like drop in, and he just went below sea level, and then the whole like beach kind of erupted like raw, and then we didn't see Mason after that for a while.
Yeah, I thought my whole run was done after that. I'm like, hey, I've checked it off that was my life list. I think I just nailed it, and I kind of paddled out like half. Almost when you think you've won it or you've done your job, and but it's not over yet. But you're kind of like, ooh, I'm totally good. Yeah. And I remember paddling back out like I'm good, and then I got to Uncle Clyde. Yeah, and Uncle Clyde. I looked at Uncle Clyde, kind of like, thank you, Uncle, for the opportunity. It was kind of checked out, and he looked at me. He's like, you still got 20 minutes. He nicely told me it's still on, and I was just like, oh shit,
so I gotta go again.
Okay, I'll try one more time. Yeah. I was like, really, I gotta try. But he still was, going. So I was like, okay, Uncle, I'll follow your lead for sure.
It's legendary that we got all the opportunity to surf with Uncle Clyde at the Eddie Aikau.
Right?
So cool. So cool.
Oh, I wanted to ask you, Tom.
Yeah.
How big was Eddie Aikau's hand when you gave him 5? Was it like bigger?
I was with Terry Fitzgerald. I flew down on a flight with Terry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And I was just this grom, and my dad gave me a little bit of like $100. And I had to make $100 last for the week.
Yeah.
To surf this event. I was taking a week off school. It was a big deal for me.
How old were you? 15?
15. And Fitzy was taking care of me on the flight, and Fitzy goes, and we landed in Coolangatta, and he goes, I'm going to introduce you to Clyde and Eddie, and I go, Clyde and Eddie. He goes, yeah, Clyde and Eddie Aikau. You go, oh, wow.
They came to Australia.
Yeah. Huh?
They went to Australia.
Yeah, they were
over there.
Yeah, they're there for this. They were invited to this comp, and it was all invitational.
Yeah,
and it was the first mountain event ever held.
Nice.
Right?
Burley heads?
Burley heads. Perfect Burley.
Mental,
too.
huh?
Mental Burley. And
did MP win that one?
MP won.
I love that Mason knows all this. He's
MP
so
knows.
good with his surfing history.
Yeah.
Just hearing Pops with that.
Yeah, it makes sense.
As MP won it, and Pops was there. It was like a big contingent from Hawaii came.
Yeah.
And I remember getting up out of my seat to walk along the aisle to go exit the plane, and Terry goes, I want to introduce you to Clyde. Clyde and Eddie got out of their seat and took up the whole plane almost. I'm like this kid.
So
I've never seen that. He goes, this is Clyde and Eddie, Tom, and they were so softly spoken. It was kind of deceiving. Going, wow, these big guys and they're soft, and they shook my hand. I'd never done the shake.
How was it? Was he just like
big,
massive?
It went
almost like the table.
in and disappeared.
and then just wrapped your whole hand.
Oh, bro.
Went in and disappeared. I go, where's my hand?
I heard Uncle Eddie's
and they're really soft, really really nice, and now we
The
started
spirit was
really good. I felt so good with that.
Yeah.
And it was such a good vibe. It was just a one really nice vibe.
Yeah.
That's
And,
awesome.
So you guys got off in Coolangatta
Got off
together?
in Coolangatta, hung out. Yeah,
So sick.
what a trip, huh?
Love
I didn't
that.
know.
Love that
I
story.
didn't
Right?
know, like, other than I knew that they were legends, you know?
Yeah.
Full legends.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at the movies. You know, as a kid, I was just every magazine, just like everyone's on Instagram now. Like we're in magazines, it's like reading and looking at photos, and you can see Eddie taking off at Sunset Beach.
All
And
deep, huh?
whoa,
That first year you came, so you came when you were 16?
that
Uncle
that,
Eddie
that
still, did you get the
later
ride?
that year I came because I turned 16. Yeah,
Yeah. Did you get the ride with Uncle Eddie when you came to Hawaii? Or was
Didn't
you
know. It
already
was like I think it was
moved
like
on?
that year he
Yeah.
went, and then I went to Hawaii. That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, trippy.
And so
Gnarly.
but I knew about the Hokulea
Yeah.
being in the star navigation, and I was starting to kind of get super interested in that.
Sick.
And I was and now that's the 70s. You know, everything's very raw compared to now.
Yeah.
Things are much more refined now.
I got a question. So what was I gonna say?
I like that.
No, I'm like, I want to ask so many like questions, but obviously I feel like you're a heavy part of the helmet movement at Pipeline. You know, there was a very select few that wore helmets. You were a very big inspiration in that aspect for probably my dad. The reason why I should wear a helmet when I was a young kid at Pipeline, and I started wearing a helmet by the time I was 15. I told my dad, "Get lost. I'm not wearing a helmet. They're not cool."
As you do.
But then you'd always see, you know, but then you'd see the likes of, you know, Tom still wearing a helmet, and certain guys would wear a helmet. But I felt like there was a time, you know, like maybe in the lineup at Pipe, now there's like 80 guys out. Now there's probably, let's just say like, okay, Pipe tomorrow, there's 60 guys out. Now there's probably 40 guys in helmets, or maybe 35, 40. It is changing like so fast. And I think, you know, like I'm like grateful for you to have led the charge for so long. But like when you were coming up and like started wearing a helmet, like how many people were wearing helmets like at Pipeline?
No
Literally,
one.
right?
No
Were
one was
guys
wearing-
rousting you? We're like, whoa, why are you wearing a helmet?
Look, I tell you, this is my helmet story and why I started wearing one.
I know this because I asked you this directly at my house at Pipe.
Yeah.
I was like, Tom, can we talk?
I feel like I know this
Yeah,
one too,
Steve,
but we
this is
need
heavy.
it
Steve
again.
Beaver Massafella.
Listen up.
He was one of those guys. You know how everyone's stink eye? I was talking about on the North Shore
Yeah.
surfing, and everyone's like stink eye, and like no one's having fun in the water and like lighten up.
Yeah.
You know, lighten up.
My wave.
My wave. But yeah, it's like, man, where's all the joy gone? You know, like
Yeah.
I'm frothing, but Steve Massafella, he's one of these guys who had that kind of froth.
Yeah.
And I connected with him, and he was really cool. Like he had a really bubbly, let's go together. You know, like no kind of
The original surf feeling. The
Yeah.
original,
the
like
original,
Kahanamoku
the
style.
stoked,
Yeah,
you know, just
yeah.
stoked
like
to
that.
do it.
Yeah.
And he was like that, and we connected like that for a number of years.
Wow.
Then 1984, Popular Masters came, and I heard I wasn't down at the beach that time. I was surfing somewhere else, but I heard that Beaver got smashed at Pipe. It was the same day that Chris Lundy smashed his leg.
Yeah.
Like that was a heavy day at Pipeline, backwash, and
Rising
it
as
was
well.
pounding.
Something.
And injuries, two injuries really close together there, but were kind of life-changing for them. But for Beaver, it was a big life-changing moment. He got medevaced out, and back then you didn't get information on how they were going,
Yeah.
like instantly, like you do now.
Yeah.
That back then it was a whole year.
You're like, where's my boy?
I don't know what happened to Beaver. No news. You know, he had to get like a plate put in his head. And anyway, I turn up Hawaii next winter, literally like the first day sunset, and I'm like frothing to surf sunset. It's pumping. And I turn up and I get my board out of the car, and there's this, I look out in the lineup, and there's this kind of orange helmet going over in the crowd. I'm going, who's the dick with the freaking orange helmet? You know, like I'm going, who's fucking the dick? You know, like that. That was the attitude out of me. I'm like, and I'm going, and then someone says, oh, that's Beaver, and I go, Beaver,
My boy.
wow, Beaver's out there.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, well. he's out there, but he's different now. I'm going, what do you mean? And I go, well, he's not Beaver, like he was, but he's got to use that helmet now. And I'm going, oh. And I paddled out and I kind of like beeline to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went over and saw him, and he's not the Beaver that I knew. He's different. And I go, holy shit. And I want to send it at Pipe. I'm right in that zone where I'm going, I want to go hard. I'm like, I don't want to back off.
Yeah.
I don't want to be thinking about that.
No.
And I go, and I'm going, what's the point? He's had the injury, now he's wearing a helmet. The whole equation was wacko.
Yeah.
And I go, man, I'm like, and it took me 3 years to get one on my head. Like, that's how kind of, we're surfing. It's a freedom movement, right? Like you get out there, all your senses, we're feeling, the thing, Mace. You got to feel it. You're feeling it. You don't want anything in the way of that feel. Yeah. And I get it. Like helmets just tend to do that. Can have that when you first wear them, like, oh my God, I don't want to wear. Plus they just look dorky, Why do I want to wear a helmet? And it took a while.
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years and a couple of knocks. I took a couple
more
of
hits. You're like, whoa.
Better act on this because I want to back behind the boil, taking off outside, trying to get backdoor. Down
the crazy
behind
lines,
the thing. Getting flogged. Like, wow, you got to take a licking, right?
Yeah.
And so, just to know her intricacies, the amount of times you had to take a licking to understand her the way you guys know her, like. She's gonna just take those things from you for a bit. Yeah. And so, anyway, I wanted to have a brain that's working, right? Yep. And so this guy that was running a school surfing program, a school teacher in South Coast, New South Wales, said, because I was putting the feelers out looking for helmets, and he said, look, I've got a helmet for you, and it's like a white helmet had like strips sort of where the water would go off, and they were made for whitewater rafting, going down whitewater rafting, and it had a little sort of like Velcro and it had a little mesh thing that goes over your head, and it was adjustable to your head size, but the shell on the outside was just a little bit off it, like a fraction, like maybe centimetre off the head. And so there was water was able to move around and empty out. And it made me feel it was hard to first surf with it because even that much off the skull, like I was getting clipped.
Yeah,
like,
a couple were like, hey, what?
Getting smashed. And I decided to start surfing like Rocky Point more, and even, anywhere where I had to sort of get in a barrel and sort of feel where my head had to be. Yeah. And then when Pipe came on that year in '87, when I first wore it, I mean, I had a couple of crazy things happen to me. Like, happened to me from an emotional point of view. My sister, our sister, died in a car accident, and like the neck had been raining for like 5 weeks, right? Like nonstop, like rain, shitty North Shore, and we'd done the preliminary round and got 1 day left of Pipe Masters. I literally got. I get this call from my brother one night, and he tells me that the bad, just the really sad news, and I'm like devastated. My beautiful sister instantly gone in a car accident. It was like shock therapy. Is like I was really angry, and I've never been so angry in my life. I was like all over the place, and the next morning we woke up, we were staying at Keiki Harley there, and Doug Silver was with me in the place with my wife-to-be. And the next morning, blue sky, glassy. It had been on, just crappy north. It turned and it was glassy, like all clear sky. Wow. And this new west swell in the ocean. And I'm like kind of a different human too, like something's changed in me. And I go, Doug, let's walk down from Keiki Harley to go to do the early session this morning, before the contest starts. Yeah. Because I could see the swell was really west. It was missing rock pile.
Yeah.
And I'm going, whoa. So we ended up walking down past rock pile, and rock pile was this west swell's going all into pipe. And we thought we'd just jump out rock pile and paddle down in behind it.
Whoa.
And I had the helmet on. And I'm going, I'm just going to go. I didn't even look at pipe, didn't know what was going on. Just
It's the sickest
and
thing
it was
I've
this
ever heard.
big like backwashing.
Yeah.
You
You
know?
just jumped in at rock piles?
Yeah,
You started
and
working
just
your way
drew-
down
yeah.
before the contest
Yeah.
started, just to
Yeah.
get your morning warm up?
Yeah, just at the warm up, and the sun hadn't come over the escarpment yet, and I paddled in the first few bombs, like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
Yeah.
and I got the helmet on. I'm like, feels right.
Yeah.
And
Was that the year you had the gnarly battle with Uncle, 87?
Yeah, and 87
Because he
was
won
on.
the year before.
Yeah, one
He
the
was
year
like,
before. It was
trying-
on. It was on, and but I couldn't do anything wrong that day. There was nothing.
Yeah.
I was so like departed from the whole event. In my part of me was not. It was with my sister,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't redo that. I can't. But something would open this whole space up for me where I couldn't paddle in the wrong spot. Everything was just
Wow.
in the zone. But on the phone the night before, I was going to go home, and my dad goes, "No, don't come. I think Joe would really like you to, win the contest. It kind of gives me a little,
I feel
chicken.
it,
Like
bro.
I'm like,
gnarly this whole time.
yeah." She came through, man. She
Ah,
came through like
Auntie.
the ether, And I come out the other end of that day, walked on onto the podium, and gave it to my sister.
That's
And I'm like,
awesome.
when you see someone doing something for someone else like that,
Yeah.
you know the power is double,
Yeah.
right? And so, but the helmet, I was, I felt more confident, and
That
the
was your
confidence
first
is
year
everything,
too,
right?
using it?
Yeah,
The
first
87,
year.
you
Yeah.
used it and then you won it.
Yeah.
And then you're like, hey, I'm
Okay,
clicked in.
I'm
I love this thing. And I'm ready
staying, and I
go.
felt confident. I didn't have to think. You don't want to think it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It became fun. Because when you're not
Yeah.
thinking, it's like fun again.
Yeah. The joy comes up, and that felt good.
Yeah.
I'm going a bit like that. Now I'm going to change direction here. I'm just going to play with this now.
Yeah.
So rather than like freaking, you're
Right.
playing.
I love that.
You know that stuff.
I know. That's why even on
And
sandbars-
Jamie, you guys just play out there. Like
Yeah.
it's
All right, quick break. We're going to check in with Skims. Skims underwear are absolutely crushing the game right now. It feels like you're not even wearing underwear. It feels like you're rolling commando everywhere. And that's what's up. Like if you're wearing good underwear, you don't want to feel them. You don't want to worry about them. They're just doing their job. And I was a commando kind of guy. I just run commando because I just didn't like how other underwear fit. It's always riding up. Like, just so many things about other underwear companies. I feel like they were making them like really cheap. And now with Skims, they have leveled up the game. I am in Skims right now, and they're just absolutely incredible. It feels like I'm commando right now, but I'm not. So that's always a good feeling when you have good, comfortable underwear in your fleet of underwear. You're just going to only have Skims now. All right. So my favorite is the 5-inch boxer briefs. These are great. There's something about underwear where I like them a little bit longer, but if you like them a little bit shorter, they also make the 3-inch. They're comfy. You're not even gonna know you're wearing them. So that's the best part about it, really. Don't forget, shop Skims Men's at skims.com. Let them know that I sent you after you place your order. Select podcast in the survey and select my show in the drop-down menu that follows. Remember, shop Skims Men's at skims.com and get yourself some underwear and tell them we sent you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Skims. And we're going to jump back into the podcast. Let's go. It's like our playground, but at the end of the day, I'm 41, like I'm getting old, clearly, but at the same time, I want to keep doing what I love to do. And how do I give myself another 10 years at pipe? And I don't without getting an injury. So I'm like, I'll wear a float suit and a helmet. I don't care. I have nothing to lose. I've did it all. I've won Way with the Winner, won Pipe Masters. I've did and achieved all my goals. And like, let me tell you, right when I start thinking about what I'm wearing is when I take a heavy wipeout and I start going over the falls. I go, you have a helmet and you have a float suit, because the float suit's going to help bounce you off the reef. And if you get heavy whiplash, boom, you're like, oh, I just thank God for the helmet and the float suit. And then that just kind of just keeps me clicking. And I'm like, boom, perfect. Like, I'm so happy wearing the helmet, and thank you for the mental helmet movement. I freaking love it.
Right.
And like the helmets are coming so like they're like, I swear, my new helmet I wear at a pipe, that Oakley helmet,
I'm
stoked. It's incredible.
I'm so happy to see people doing it, because
incredible.
What's his name? The guy that got his back the other night.
Oh, Lucas. Yeah.
He got his back, and then
He broke his L2 vertebrae.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in the hospital.
Yeah.
He's probably
Our
out
boy
by the
Lucas?
time, yeah.
And that happened so
On a 4 foot back door wave.
Yeah.
Heavy.
What's up with the small back door? Just like she
That thing
bites.
comes that night. It was sort of coming together on itself. Like
Yeah.
was
Flat
it was
bottom.
coming boom.
Tidal surges.
I talked to
Tidal
Kelly.
waves.
I talked to Kelly, and Kelly's like, I saw Lucas take off on that wave, and then as he was coming off the bottom, I could tell he was like really like too deep for sure. But Lucas is kind of the surfer that like I'm never too deep, He's a Skywalker, bro. He's like, I'm never too deep. I'm gonna freaking make this thing, and then the whole crowd just started going, and I was like the furthest person out, and I'm like looking in. I'm just going, oh my god.
When was this?
And then I this is like 2 days ago, right after the pipe contest. And then I'm like watch or no, after the big day where Kelly got his waves.
Yeah.
The beautiful
A beautiful day.
Big.
And I'm watching, but I didn't know who it was in the beginning. I just saw the board tombstoning, and then I was like, "Whoa, that kind of looks like Lucas's board." And then he like popped up and goes, "Help!" And I was like, "Oh,
No.
bro, that's Lucas." And I'm like, maybe Lucas is helping the person. I didn't really know what was happening, but right away I was like, I know Lucas is in a helmet. Like that was like my one takeaway. I'm like, he has in a helmet, so like it saved him.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was his back. And then that was to me, that's why I wear the float suit, because like it protects your back. Like it protects a lot of things on your
and actually brings you to the surface,
and it will bring you to
If
surface.
you black out, huh? That's why I like it.
I'm a little safety surfer now, but I love it.
I
don't
know.
give a shit.
You guys,
it's
I'm getting
so
all
good.
pumped. I'm gonna try my float suit tomorrow.
I got a
Uncle
crap
Derek
on
was
it.
wearing his float suit
Yep,
the last
he was.
few years.
Yep.
He would always, and I was like, "Whoa, Uncle's sick!" Like,
Smart. He's smart.
yeah,
Well,
I'm gonna try mine.
it's smart.
Bro, I wanna do this for, I wanna be like freaking Uncle Mike Ho surfing pipe at 65. I asked Uncle Derek, I go, how do you keep doing this? He looks at me, he's like, passion. It's passion, Jamie. Passion. And I'm like, bro, you're making it so hard for me to like continue to do what I want to do for as long as you're gonna do it, because you keep doing it longer than me. And I'm like, freaking got my word cut out.
Seeing Mike doing it, it's
Yeah.
like I'm like tripping.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, well, I got to do it at some point. Back out there again. At
Yeah.
some
Do
point.
it.
Oh, you
though.
got
I
it.
See, when I remember every now and then I pop into Australia every year. I get over there and I always see something. You're out somewhere crazy, surfing some cute. I'm like, dude, Uncle Tom's out of his mind, still doing it, bro.
I love it. I just love it.
You,
Like,
you do, right?
yeah,
You're like
I
surfing
just love
20-foot wave. I remember last year I was in Australia and they're like, oh, he's outer reef. I'm like, what the heck is he doing out there? Get him to Hawaii. It's all close to the shore. Let's get him worked by the shore break at least.
Yeah, I think we got to get you back out. I think you need to show up next winter. The new quiver.
Any day you want, Unks, we'll all bodyguard for
I'll
you.
guarantee
We'll get all
I'll
the
be so
boys.
psyched.
We'll
Yeah.
get the boys, man.
We'll
Like,
line it up.
Okay,
Dude,
I'll
come on, Unks.
And we'll bring Uncle Mike out there.
Yeah, and
yeah,
Just for
that'd
good
be
measure.
really cool to
So
do with
Yeah.
Mike.
He would
Yeah.
love to. I mean, I
Yeah.
told him I was coming up here to do this with you, and he was like, "Whoa!" He's like, "You're lucky." I was like, "I know. I feel it. I feel lucky."
We haven't done the Mike podcast, but it's coming. We're just getting better at
I
it.
seen his gears turning when I said Tom was coming, and I seen Dad like, okay.
He's so cool. We go back.
You guys are the best.
Speaking of Uncle Mike and Derek, who did you look up to when you were when you first started coming into Hawaii, and like as far as like surfers at Pipeline or just on the North Shore or anywhere really?
I really love Dane surfing.
Yep,
I like Sean Thompson's surfing.
it was great.
Oh,
One of the greats.
Simon Anderson. At Pipe, particularly a little bit down the track, I liked watching Max Medeiros.
Whoa, yeah,
Max. He used to ride
yeah.
He's a
6'3".
tiny board guy, yeah.
6'3".
Yeah.
He used to ride 6'3".
I always heard.
And like he
Max
sent it
Medeiros.
from way deep.
Sick.
And I go, man, I'd want to be where Max is, you know.
Yeah.
And I kind of watched Max, and he was a real inspiration. Ronnie was a real inspiration for me. Right? Watching Ronnie, and I learned a lot from those two guys.
He kind of manhandled it like you kind of too.
Yeah,
he had that same like he's like,
and
what
we
is
used to
this?
surf a lot
Narrabeen
of
or
Rocky
pipe?
Point together, man. You know, Ronnie, and we used to just go out and actually,
Battle?
Dave Cantrell, and we used to go out there and just push it on the bowl.
Love that.
And he used to hack, and I go, hack,
Yeah. You guys would turn
Yeah.
pipe all the time and do those sick lines, you know, those kickstall, the drop and stop, or you guys were always like changing up your lines and surfing it like and then to the beach, you guys would come out and just go roundhouse, slam, roundhouse, foam climb. Foam climb out of here. Like,
That's it.
I was like, oh my God, that's the dream.
Yeah, to keep moving with the thing, the energy.
From when it's maxing to just the end.
Yeah, it was a bummer because like we lost Ronnie Burns in 1991, and then that's the same year you went on to win the probably your second or third Pipeline Masters, and I'm sure third Pipe Master. I'm sure if he was still with us, he would have been giving you a run for your money.
For sure.
It's just crazy, like a guy like that. Like he was like the golden child of Pipeline, the next generation that was paving the way. And like he died in a motorcycle accident, and like probably like like dehydration, like took a little wipeout, maybe laid the bike down, laid underneath a tree, and never woke up. It's pretty nuts. Bro, I was on a plane heading back home to Hawaii, and I met his sister.
Oh, wow.
Bro, I was tripping. She's like, "Are you Jamie?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm Ronnie's sister." Maybe like 5 years ago.
Ronnie's sister.
Bro, I was so sick. I go, "I got Ronnie's board on my wall." She's like, "All right on." Like, I went to Ronnie's funeral on the beach at Pipe. It was so beautiful.
With this quiver.
With this quiver on the beach. I made a lei like out of all like the random like flowers I found in the bushes at my house at Pipe. Yeah. But yeah, we miss you, Ronnie. Freaking legend.
I know you're here. You don't. Yeah, he's around.
I feel him inside.
and and then what rivalry? You have like crazy rivalry with like Tom Curran.
Oh, we got to hear at least one. Curran one.
Oh,
yeah.
See, Tom didn't say anything. Like, it's always sort of guesswork. And you don't want to guess really.
Yeah.
But Tom just dial a wave. Right.
Yeah.
And really frustrating, especially my energy, like so different than Tom, and
it is,
I was real different, and
polar opposites, Tom and Tom.
Like completely couldn't get any more opposite.
But maybe
right?
nowadays and age, you guys are kind of like the same. I feel like you guys are both freaking mellow, like hippie, like freaking yoga people now. Like
yeah, no, we always really got on. I mean, particularly, even though he's got great sense of humor, Tom. Like,
he's
really
so
classic,
twisted.
Funny dude.
Huh?
Yeah, really classic guy. Like,
and
a lot of laughs, when it goes on, twisted. And so, but competition time, man,
he still has it.
Freaking serious, man. He like you'd think he's all kind of no
way, dude. Don't even get caught trying to comp with him. I caught him a couple of times, like and I'm just like, never mind. I'm just kidding. Man. I want to be your friend. I want to be friends. It's like, what would you? How do you want it? What?
Yeah, he's full tilt, and
he is. Yeah.
Back in the day, we used to surf like these. He used to surf little waves really well, and it was really hard to, I didn't surf small waves very well. I had learned how to surf small waves off him. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break from the podcast and check in with our sponsor, Bear Mattress. These mattresses are absolutely incredible. This mattress lives at my house at Pipeline, and I sleep on it every night, and I've been sleeping better and better. I absolutely love this mattress. All right. And I must say that ever since I've had this mattress at my house, I've been sleeping incredible. I wake up and I feel recharged and ready to go. I fall asleep faster. Just every single thing about this mattress gets me psyched to go to bed. And I'm also more psyched when I wake up in the morning to get out of bed, and I feel great. It's just really kind of cleared up a lot of my sleeping issues, which is huge when it comes to a big day of surfing. And check this out. Bear Sleep Quiz matches your perfect mattress based on your body type and your sleep preference. So they're doing next level things for you to have a better sleep and a better life. Hey, are you still not convinced? Listen up. Sleep on it for 120 nights to make sure you absolutely love it. If you're not getting the best sleep of your life, look, they will give you a refund, your money back. No questions asked, no hassles. That's what's up right there. They believe in their product, and I do too. Go to bearmattress.com and use promo code JOB at checkout and get 40% off. That's right, 40% off. This is a crazy deal. And this is site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You'll have to use my promo code at the very last page on the checkout code to get the discount. Don't forget, use code JOB. That's right, bearmattress.com, and use my code JOB to get 40% off site-wide, bearmattresses.com, promo code JOB. Let's jump back into the podcast.
And that was
what was like one of your guys' funnest, or maybe not funnest, but gnarliest like heat where you were like, yeah, I want to get him
final
so
of Bells, 1986.
bad.
Yeah, and he just had to kill a heat against Oki. It was like the heat of the event.
Yeah,
and Oki went nuts, but Carroll went nuts.
What?
On with that black booty
Yeah,
beauty
yeah.
one. And he was
So before you guys had the heat, he already had the Aki.
yeah, had the Oki, gnarliest semifinal.
Yeah,
those guys went battled it out, and I was in the final already.
What year was this?
Tom had already won the world title, taken it off me.
Whoa.
And I'm just going to take him on this final. I'm like psyching. I'm like going, I'm like digging in. I'm going deep.
Yeah.
I'm going in. I'm going deep on this one. I'm making sure I win this final.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
the title was already done by Bells?
Titles was done
That's
in that
cool.
event.
Yeah, yeah.
And he'd already got enough points.
Yeah.
And there it is there. Like, and I love Tom surfing, but I was like, anything where there was a bit of size, I felt like I had a bit more kind of go.
Yeah.
Tom naturally wasn't much of a larger wave surfer, but he was starting to come on. It was really hard bells that final.
It looked
Yeah, it
so
looks
choppy
gnarly.
It
and
was
bumpy.
choppy and wacko, and there wasn't much of a Bell's wave, to be honest. But I had to beat him. Had to put him, and I'd done this before, and I knew that I could do it, but I knew that I could do it in size. There was a little bit of power in that, and
Attacking.
I always had a kind of a little bit of a leg up in him when there was some size.
Yeah. So you're just
And
ready to.
I was naturally kind of given to more size. Tom brought that on to himself later.
Yeah.
He actually worked his way into big wave surfing.
Yeah.
I thought, man, I thought it was that it was just born in you
Yeah.
at that time, but I gone, Tom actually,
Coming
he
on.
worked his way into it really gracefully and got into it. And I was stoked for him because his surfing is such a beautiful thing, and it taught me how to technique, and I could watch him teach the world how to improve their surfing in such an unspoken, like before words way.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And he did that for everyone. Technically he was the most, and you can see it today, he's the cleanest out of anyone in history.
Like what you said earlier, it's like freedom movement. What
yeah.
did you say earlier?
Well, it's like
so right.
it was effortless, and he could get speed, power, everything wrapped up into one perfect technique.
Were you there at that Santa Cruz contest? Remember in 91
Yeah,
or something?
91.
He was just like,
I was there. He was killing it on that longer board.
yeah, the 6'9" or something.
Yeah, he's just
What
like
in the world?
gouging turns
Yeah,
and
the
stuff. I'm going,
roundhouse and-
he's on a tear. He's going to take us all out this year. And he was.
That was gnarly.
Yeah, he just went, I'm gonna nail everyone. He had to come through
It's like
the
you there.
trials. He had to come through the trials.
No. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
because he took the year off,
Yeah.
right, or something?
Yeah, he had to come through and he won the world title.
That's crazy.
He's third, yeah. I was like so bummed too at first, because like I got myself a third chance at the world title in 1988.
Yeah.
And I got interference at pipe.
Oh.
It was like paddling it was a technicality.
Who was it with? Who were
It
you
was with
battling?
Todd Holland.
Oh, me.
And Todd Holland, he was just, he had got his beard on by then. He was chewing tobacco in the water and stuff. You know, I was like,
Didn't even know that was a
What a
thing.
hammer.
this was just such a hick. And he was like sending it that year. Like he didn't care.
Was that when you did the floater of death? At the
It's just horrendous. Like I remember
Floater
that
of
first. I remember coming from the airport, coming straight to pipe to look at it.
Yeah.
Walked along the pipe right away. You know where the pipe house, you know, the Volcom house is now. But
You pulled right
Jerry's
out
house.
from the airport.
I pulled up, straight up and went straight. Walked the have a look at pipe.
What a ledge.
And I looked straight at it, and there's one guy at it. It was on shore. It's just gnarly. I'm going, what's this guy doing? First person I see, it's Todd
Holland.
just sending it on anything that comes through, right? I'm going, what's wrong with Todd?
Yeah, what's up with this guy?
Something's going on with Todd.
Yeah.
Todd went loose, bro.
Todd, he went to
Dude, he always
Fully
had some
loose.
crazy, gnarly moments. Yeah, dude? He always
Yeah.
had gnarly moments everywhere, too. Like,
yeah, it was like Todd. I'm going, what's up with
Was that
Todd?
the year he
Why
had
is
the
he out
craziest
here
wipeout?
right now?
I think he had one of the gnarliest wipeouts I ever seen in my life at Pipe.
Yeah, and that's
Maybe that year? Was he
that
on red and
cool.
yellow boards?
could have been that. Yeah, that year. And he's like. Anyway, that was it. Was it? I'd already had one of those interferences that year where if you weren't watching, if you had second priority, someone had first priority, you could be deemed to be on the same swell. All you had to do is your hands come off the rail to do a paddle for it, and you could be down the other side of the beach, and the guy with priority catches the wave. You get interference.
So you got
that's
caught with
weird.
a gnarly, strict
Yeah.
one. Like,
It's not even
And-
real anymore.
No, I was a fall guy because 6 hours later, it was the end of the year. There was the annual general meeting that night.
yeah.
I was like, I didn't interfere with him. It was just technicality. And
Yeah.
he just took this crazy wave because he saw me looking at it.
You knew, huh?
He knew he was outside a bit. He saw it,
It's like,
and I just went for a paddle, and he gone, raw, boom. And then all of a sudden turned around, he wasn't there. I went, oh my God.
No, that was for the
away.
title.
And it
then
was
Barton
a
won?
crazy closeout.
Barton won the title that year, right?
Barton won it. You got it. Barton won it.
Gnarly.
Mason knows. And
That was the year I was born. 88.
Yeah, 88. So sick. And like, and I kind of, at that point I went, I did a 3-year campaign to get the world title back. And I'm like, I don't trust this whole thing. I'm like, I'm out. And I sort of had a crap year the next year. Couldn't concentrate. I was so over it. And then I kind of went, I just want to win the events that I love. So I ended up doing
Whoa.
the
Sick.
Pipe Masters
Yeah.
on 1990.
Can't you do it?
91.
Yeah.
And I'm
in a
like,
row, huh?
psych, this is where I want to be. And then Tom got another world title. I go, damn. I go, damn. You know, the nut. I
love
just
it.
I was like, ah. I'm like, what? Now Kelly's
Was it
on
his
tour.
first
I'm
one?
going, look
No.
at Kelly Slater just wins a world title like that. I go, I surrender.
How gnarly
kinda-
was Kelly, huh? When he,
Oh,
like,
Kelly
in?
came on. I was just
Jeez.
like, okay. And he almost made that final at Pipeline Masters final in 91.
The one you
No
won.
His first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he won in 93.
Yeah.
So like literally the following year, Derek won and then Kelly won, right?
Mm.
Was that what happened there?
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, 93. Yeah. No, I
That's
think
nuts.
Kelly won, and then Uncle D won.
Yeah.
And Kelly won.
So sick.
Yeah.
Kind of gnarly.
Yeah. Uncle D got one in there.
He snuck
He
one
was
in
so
the middle of it,
gnarly.
huh?
Derek,
I think he was like you guys too. He's like, hey, I'm gonna get my title too, even though it's
Yeah.
getting towards the
Yeah.
end. He
Yeah.
like desired it. You guys got the crazy deep, like the real deal.
Yeah. The real North Shore.
Yeah, right.
You did
the
it.
real worldwide, huh?
My dad tells me about it and Uncle Mike tells Mason about it. And it's like,
So gnarly.
those are the years that you just, it was so colorful and
Ooh.
raw, right?
those words, colorful and raw. And all kinds of stuff underneath bubbling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of wacko stuff going on. Like,
You know what was cool is like I think I was like 11 years old and I remember I read for Quicksilver and Quicksilver came out with this ad campaign saying Quicksilver for life. And I was like, holy shit, that is nuts. And they had like Rusty K. Alana, Tom Carrol, Kelly Slater, like all these, Lisa Anderson. And I was just like, oh my God, they're sponsored from Quicksilver for life. Bro, I was just like,
Sick.
cause like, you know what I mean? You were always told like as a little kid, you're like,
You
oh,
Quicksilver too?
I was on
Right around
Quicksilver.
then?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I was always told as a little kid, they're like, what are you going to do? Just be a surf bum? You're done by the time you're 25. Surfing career's over. I was like, oh, but it said
Sponsored for life.
Quicksilver for life. So like, it's kind of cool to like sit here and like, be talking with Tom, and he's still Quicksilver. And
So cool.
I value that as like, like a surfer, and always looking up to you, and still, like now you're our friend. But like, I think that's so cool that like, like you're still sponsored by Quicksilver. They still support you. And like, I kind of like that whole element of like just believing this thing when I was young, and then still seeing Tom Quicksilver for life.
Well,
huh?
thanks,
That's
man.
sick,
Well,
bro.
that's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
How old
I-
were you when you got on Quicksilver?
14.
Damn.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, I'm 63.
That is one of
It's
the
coming up
coolest
for
things I ever
50
heard.
years, I guess. So,
I got a question. I
When did
was,
Quicksilver start?
we
69.
69.
We-
Oh, that's when a lot of
Yeah,
them started.
yeah.
Yeah. Damn, that's so cool.
Like, right? Rip Curl and Quicksilver are kind of the same. Yeah, similar.
So
timing.
cool.
is it a true story that you potentially did like $1 million deal with Quicksilver at some point in your career?
Yeah. They, well, I had a manager by then,
Uh-huh.
and he was doing the deals.
Yep.
Because I kind of stepped out. I wasn't great doing cutting the deals. And
Yeah.
it was at a time when it was a really good time to start hitting the companies up to the brands to sort of back it up, because they're starting to make a bunch of money.
Uh-huh.
And the athletes were kind of doing their own deals and stuff. So I thought, I'm not a business guy. Like, I want to keep surfing and really focus
Just want to
on
hit
what
the
I'm
lip.
doing. I
huh?
want to hit the lip.
Yeah, I'm not-
I want to get my boards prepped. I want to get psyched and
yeah.
all
Screw those
that
numbers.
stuff,
Huh?
where let's go do this and that, So my manager, when, started to work this deal with Quicksilver that would go with 100%, because before that, I had Rip Curl and Quicksilver.
Whoa.
Like
Yeah.
Rip Curl wetsuits?
Rip Curl wetsuits, Quicksilver clothing. Then I had Oakley sunglasses. I mean,
Yeah.
and then I went, I eventually went O'Neill and Quicksilver and
O'Neill for wetsuits?
yeah, O'Neill for wetsuits, and it was all kinds.
So
I mean, I was with
sick.
Rip Curl from real early.
Do you still have some of those boards with two of the
Yeah,
stickers
with
and
Rip
stuff?
Curls
Oh.
and stuff. And Rip Curl was one of my first sponsors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
so and I
Cool.
used to use all their suits, and Doug and Brian
Yeah.
were really. It was so cool working with them.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
and-
so
and
funny.
It's so cool, but.
Such servers.
Quicksilver, it's $1 million over 5 years, so it's $200,000 a year.
Sick.
So
Still $1
it
million
was
bucks.
Still $1 million, and no surfer had cut the deal. Like
Love
that.
it. Love it.
And like we
It's
needed
tab.
to push it, and we want to be professional, right? I want
Yeah.
to,
Yeah.
we want to be professional surfers, and we want to do a good job. And once you start making a bit of money like that, you start wanting to do a really good job. You just naturally
Yeah.
let's kick it up a couple of gears, a couple of notches. That support's there, and I think that's a powerful message coming from the brand. And Quicksilver, I started getting more involved with the company, invested in a license to do wetsuits, and got involved as soon as I kind of went through the 88 experience of not getting a world title back. I started sort of planning what I was going to do after competitive career, and then all of a sudden I had kids, and I was doing work with the license
Wow.
and working as a sponsored athlete as well.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of different hats there through the 90s and in the 2000s.
That's
How old were
epic.
you when you had your kids?
Huh?
How old were you when you had your first kid?
31 when Jenna,
cool. It's like
my
dad.
first daughter, now she's 33.
That's
Whoa,
yeah.
So
that's
she's on
classic.
fire, and then I had 2 years later, like almost to the day, because their birthday's the day apart. Is our second daughter is Amelia, and she's 31 now, and then like 9 years later, it was like we're just all no worries, not going to have any more kids. It was boom,
Nice.
she got pregnant
That's
again. I'm
cool.
like, woo, we got another one coming. And the young Grace, she's 22, but
you know it's crazy,
so cool.
bro. Somehow your two daughters, your older daughters, ended up at one of our house parties, and I was like, no, bro, that's Tom Carroll's daughters, bro. Don't stay away, bro. I don't want Uncle Tom coming over to the house, bro. I was like tripping. Yeah,
that's classic.
Yeah, dude. I was like,
no,
no.
Yeah, because there was my 33-year-old's 21st, and I said, "You want to go to Hawaii, do you? Okay, well, let's go to Hawaii."
Exactly the time.
And that was Amelia, she came over too with one of Jenna's buddies, and they got a little spot there at Kelly's house. On the one side of
that was the other scary part. It was like there was like Tom knew too many people. We're like, these girls gotta kind of leave the party, bad boys, leave them alone.
I said you gotta go to the parties, the Vulcan parties and stuff, or something.
My house was right next to the Vulcan house.
They were the most safe there.
Yeah.
I guess before we wrap it up, kind of wanted to talk. I think you do some yoga retreat that we should like share about with some people.
I need that.
Yeah, so I do. I work with Rodrigo Perez, who has Holistic Pro Health on the Coolangatta. In Coolangatta, we've been working on retreats together. We've been doing workshops together. It's got body movement, breath work, and meditation.
Love it.
And we've got a workshop coming up very soon on the 23rd at Urban Surf. It's a whole day
awesome.
in Sydney. And then we're working on a retreat. We do them. It's close to Byron. And that one's coming up in April.
Yep.
I can't off the dates off the back of my head, but everything's on my website, tomcarrolmeditation.com. That's all on the website.
We'll throw that in the description if you want to learn more about that. Check it out.
And I've also started to work with my meditation teacher, Marcus Hamill from Sattva Life, and we've been doing breath work for surfers, which is like a really cool program that actually just expands our capacity to get pounded.
100%.
Really, or just be cool under there. I've actually got this backup that I didn't even know I had, because we've all got the capacity to work on this stuff.
Yeah.
And now I swear this work actually increased my capacity naturally for all my exercise routines. Like just actually creates more confidence, so you get more joy. It's just simple equation, super simple equation. You just do the work. And we've got a little online program that you can join, and that's through Breathwork for Surfers. You can see that on Instagram.
Perfect.
Breathwork for Surfers.
And it's an online program?
It's an online program. You can get the program, you can buy it, and it's got like nine modules in there, so you can.
So I'm getting on that.
Yeah. You're supercharged.
And just on your website?
You can get it through my website, or you can go to the website breathworkforsurfers.com.
Perfect.
Breathwork for Surfers.
Yeah. You can see on there. There's
getting on that.
Marcus and I, and there's a little program we're doing. We do it on the beach, or you can do it on grass. We don't like to do any of this stuff in the water because it's just too dangerous.
Yeah.
And you can do all this stuff all on land, and even we've modified it so you can actually just do it straight, in your living room as well.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
Man. 100%.
Yeah.
I guess before we wrap it up, I don't know, is there anything you want to ask Tom Mason before we end this guy?
I mean, there's a lot, but
I
I
know.
just feel bad that we're going way past our time.
We are.
I wanted to know what size your board, or what were you riding in that final at Bell's? What was that board?
Oh,
Rough,
that was
maybe.
a 6'3". Yeah.
So sick. It looked so fun.
Yeah. I mean, back then my boards were so straight,
Yeah, that's
and
why
I look at it and I
the
go, man,
rocker and the rail
it's
was-
super straight.
You're
but
swinging that thing.
Phil Byrne. We have with fins for.
Oh, is that a Phil Byrne?
It's a Phil Byrne.
Ooh.
Yeah. 6'3", and Tom was on a 6'3" as well.
Really? I know.
So
He
that
always
was-
likes the 6'3s and the 6'9s.
Yeah. That's 6'3", Black Beauty, and that was kind of like our normal board,
It looked like
Back
a short
then.
board, but it looked like, like the little step up.
Mm.
It just looked like so perfect for you guys. I was,
Yeah.
curious.
Yeah.
That's
Bell's
awesome.
demands a bit of bit of length in the rail.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
right.
that.
It kind of likes it, huh?
Mm.
You can like tag it, get out of there,
get out,
get
and
out
do
of
the
there,
longer
get in.
turns.
Yeah,
Get it in and around underneath, get away from the white water, get the longer turn
yeah.
on the bottom turn.
Do you did you have fun watching Baron win? How do you trip out like a little bit, or how small the boards are? Like what the heck?
Man, I just in that semi-final when he just spun. I mean that like who thinks
What on
about
the
that?
the big one? You
Yeah,
see the
that
one he got
big
with
one
John
with
John?
the day
See that?
before.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What
it was the day before, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When it was was
John
that
John's
heat? Was that a
heat.
quarterfinal?
It was like
with
a
John
round
John.
before even the quarters.
Like he was
maybe the quarters.
just 16, round 16.
Yeah.
That's right, against John John. It was crazy.
What was
Crazy.
up with that?
He went
It's like
straight out
Jamie.
into that. Who thinks like you think about that?
Who thinks?
You're nuts. See, that moment where you just, I'm going to go this. Like he wasn't even thinking.
Yeah, you almost just
But-
gotta.
and he dropped out underneath it, and he just free fell, just with the perfect distance from the water. Like,
right.
and
Yeah.
then he just engaged that rail perfect. The
Held
board
it
fit.
perfect.
It's like it was nuts. Look at that.
Wow.
And it was like he was just immaculate. I go, man, to start a heat off with a 10 against John John, that's what you got to do.
Yep.
right.
You just got to go, John John, I'm serious.
yeah, I'm this
you know,
serious.
But John John can get a 10.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do.
But I think right. I mean, that to me right there, like I already knew he was a great, but that just threw him up in there. I was like, all right, done deal. Like,
Yeah, I swear what he did this.
Yeah.
Like you said,
Oh,
I always
man.
knew he was a great, but when he did the double win, and I swear the way he did it, like even some of his interviews, he was
Yeah.
so calm and so
Mm.
smooth and so smart, and like
Yeah.
I was so proud of him. But when he like did it and it was all done, I was almost like, make a holiday for this guy.
Yeah.
I'm so
but,
baffled.
he slips into the intuitive space
yeah.
very easily, like he's in a pipe, right? Because different places offer different things.
Yeah.
But he's tapping in to that slipstream,
Pipeline slipstream.
beyond thought. Like you're in the doing,
Yeah.
but it's like you're just in sync.
Yeah.
Synchronicity is right on. He's right in that synchronicity, linking it in, spinning it. I mean, every like it's feeling the wave, feeling the lineup. His senses are way past the body. It's sort of feeling the reef,
Yep.
And it's
the way the water's moving. All these decisions are being made. Like with all that information, the data in him is just so
yeah, that's
laid
the
down.
data.
Yeah.
And it's beyond the competition. Like
Yeah.
Jamie, I'm sure
Yeah.
you could, but like every time I go check pipeline, he's out there at dark. Or like usually I'm like, okay, I like to wait, right? You know, I want the sun to come out, or I have my
Yeah.
little things. He's just out there at dark already, like just going. I'm just like, well, you can have those, but and then when it's sun out too, he's going. I'm like, man, this guy's the man.
No, so here's the deal. So
Stacking
I
the
got
data.
them all figured out. So like if he paddles out at dark, he can get any and every single bomb he can
I think
like.
he knows that.
Yeah, he knows that. He knows he dominates the
'Cause
lineup.
you're like me a little bit, right? We
Yeah.
wait for the sun.
So
a
we'll
little bit.
paddle. We'll like wake up, have some coffee, get like kind of figure ourselves out.
Yeah.
Sun hits it, paddle out.
Unless it's backdoor.
Baron's
I don't need
just wrapping up the session, going, oh, okay, their boys are paddling out, because like then he kind of like moves down a little bit. Like he's not going to get the big ones every time. And I just noticed that like when you give Baron that opportunity, he's so good that he's going to win the Pipeline Masters twice.
Yeah.
When he has his pick of the litter of the waves, he's going to win, and he's just as good as anybody on this planet.
That's the
Yeah.
other part why I'm such a fan of him, is I swear he has this energy where like a lot of guys, once they start getting into that level, they're like, I deserve this wave, or like, I want more. I want waves, waves, waves. But something about Baron, every time I see him, if like any of the older guys or anyone's looking at the wave, he's just like, yeah.
Oh, he's so cool.
He's like, always
Yeah.
go, yeah, cool. And then
Yeah.
I'll look back, nah, you're more deeper. You go. You're
Yeah,
being so
yeah.
nice. Like,
Yeah.
but then I swear, he's like so cool and so nice that I just watched, like, I swear the universe, like it's just love, or he like works it,
Yeah,
he works it. Not only the surfs, that he works like being the good person.
He's got a
Good
connection.
energy.
He's got a connection with pipe, which only a handful of people ever do. And he's one of the greats.
So
and he's,
respectful.
and very respectful. And it's in his bloodline to be doing what he's
Right?
doing. It's
Yeah,
it's
sure.
so good to see. I
Oh,
love it.
yeah,
And,
wow.
and he's a great kid. I love him.
Yeah.
I love surfing out there with him.
I like there's this poster at the WSL comp site, right? And it's got a shot of him,
Yeah.
Like it's not the way he is, but
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
coming
yeah.
through the barrel,
Yeah.
and he looks like a samurai. He's like, rah, like he's got the head on and his eyebrows
Crazy.
and stuff. And he's like,
Looking all
this is
nuts.
when he
really
beat John
Who
the
he is,
final.
maybe, huh?
There's something in him, right?
Something's in there,
but he
huh?
is so like
Fired.
coming through the barrel. He
Wow.
kind of looked
Samurai.
He's got no grabbing anything. He's just like, he's just coming through it. And I had to take a photo of it. Because his freaking head. It was
Baron
so
made
good.
it, bro.
Yeah, Baron.
TC's taking a photo of your samurai face. I'm so
I
jealous.
love it,
What the
Baron.
heck?
Freaking head, just thank you for amazing performance,
Yeah,
Baron.
we appreciate
Like,
that.
Serious.
it's so psyched, and
Represent.
it gets us all frothing.
Yeah.
Like the
Yep.
froth just comes from you and just triples up, and
I agree.
just
100%.
feels.
I was like, I'm
So-
surfing pipe tomorrow for sure now.
See you out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Jamie.
But yeah, it's time to end it. Thanks so much, Tom, for joining us on the podcast. Really means a lot. It was one of the most exciting podcasts. Even driving up here, I was watching like old videos of you surfing, and I was getting all psyched up for this. And anything that you heard about us talk about what Tom's doing with the yoga stuff and the retreats, make sure you check it out. Links in the description below. Show him some love. If you want to do something really cool, this guy's a legend, and they'll show you everything you need to know.
Thanks, Jamie.
I'm in on it.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, love you too.
Oh, deep five.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving us the platform.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we're psyched to be here. And it's time to end it. Don't forget, click the link right here to subscribe to my and Mason's channel, and right here to watch more podcasts. And make sure you check us out. We're on all the streaming platforms everywhere. Check us out. Peace and love.